Like, the one for me is like the Power Rangers movie with like Dulcia when she rocks up.
Which one's that?
Like, she's like the lady who rocks up wearing like the skimpiest outfit ever, and like her fighting style is to spin sticks around and they whistle.
Fair enough.
So far away, Lucas, and lovely audience at home, same question. What is your favourite moment from Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh no, Karl. I have to admit something real bad.
Is your favourite moment with the shoe?
I've never seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Well, let's talk about that now.
No, not at any time. Only when it was funny.
So I'm surprised you've not seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Lucas. Are you at least aware of its reputation via pop culture osmosis? That it has like one of the most harrowing, awful death scenes of any like film, animated or otherwise, where they get an adorable little shoe that's like a cartoon and just melt it. Which I won't put a clip in of because no one needs to see that like 5 seconds into this video.
I wasn't aware of that bit, but I'm of course like aware of the movie in general, and you know I've seen some really cool clips of it and stuff, and a lot of the behind the scenes of how it worked and things. But yeah, it's just one of those films that I've always intended to watch and just not got round to.
Well, fortunately, the topic of today's video doesn't necessarily need us to talk about the movie too much. It's about the production of it. So, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is considered by some to be a technical masterpiece in specific regards to how it seamlessly blends live action and animated characters.
What could have possibly happened to you to turn you into such a sourpuss?
You want to know? I'll tell you. A tune killed my brother.
A tune? No.
It is, to this day, one of the most immaculate films I've ever seen. I don't know how they got it looking that good, even though I kind of do because I've seen a lot of the clips.
Yeah, so there's like just a couple of smaller moments. So like Red Letter Media did a review of it where they talk about how one of the reasons it looks so good is that they treat the animated characters like actors that they're filming for real.
He comes in.
Bob actually approached the filming of the movie not unlike the way he would shoot any movie, which means he would block the scene as if the cartoon character were there.
For example, they have like what's known as a rack shot, which is where you shift focus, like with the character who's like slightly further back. And they do that with the animated characters by drawing them blurry. And if you think about it, you wouldn't actually need to do that for an animated character, right? Animated films don't have like camera work like that, but live action films do.
And he said, well, why do these other animation directors say you can't? And I said, because they're lazy. You know, I mean, we're supposed to be able to turn things in every direction. That's our job. So you can shoot your movie and we'll just fit the character in. He said, well, isn't that a lot of work? Yeah, twice as much work.
And action.
Like shadow work as well, where like, and supposedly it was a huge ball ache behind the scenes, where like, just they had to draw the animated characters to be realistically impacted by the light that existed on the live action physical sets.
It's a level of detail you don't see in almost any production of any caliber. It is absolutely insane. I'm sure you're going to be putting clips in of how good this movie looks. It's phenomenal.
You compare it to something like Space Jam, where like the characters they don't seemingly exist in the world. And admittedly, Space Jam, a lot of it takes place in Toon World, but there are moments where Bugs Bunny goes into the real world, and during those moments, like, he doesn't look like he belongs in the world, which is a weird thing to say about an anthropomorphic cartoon rabbit. But hopefully the examples I've shown from Who Framed Roger Rabbit show that it can be done. It is possible to have animated characters look as if they belong in that world, as weird as it seems.
And obviously there's that extremely famous scene where there's the battle of the ducks, essentially, and they look like they are sitting there playing a piano.
Which is largely what we're talking about today. So while the film absolutely deserves all the credit it gets for being a technical marvel, something that's more impressive, in my opinion, is the heroic amount of effort that went in behind the scenes. Specifically, the effort put in by Steven Spielberg, who managed to use his not insignificant amount of clout to stop an industry titan from engaging in a pointless dick measuring contest.
I thought it was a really interesting idea for a movie, a detective story with a irascible rabbit named Roger.
In a nutshell, Steven Spielberg is widely considered to have been the person responsible for getting all the people who owned all the various characters that appeared in Who Framed Roger Rabbit as cameos he convinced the owners of those characters to basically give Disney the permission to use them for free. Because Disney produced the movie, so Disney could use their characters for free, but they still had to reach out to the owners of other ones. And Steven Spielberg managed to convince every single rights holder to let them use their character for $5,000. So a flat fee for every single one.
Just Steven Spielberg knocking doors down at Warner Bros. I don't care.
That's just the power of the maestro. That's how much clout Steven Spielberg had. He was able to convince all of these disparate, competing rights holders to waive any rights for the use of their characters for $5,000. Because something Steven Spielberg managed to get written into the contracts that the studio signed is that they would have no creative input whatsoever on how the character was shown, as long as he agreed to, not take the piss, which they trusted him not to do because he was Steven Spielberg. But think about a similar scene, Luke, we've talked about in the past from Wreck-It Ralph. Do you remember we talked about Wreck-It Ralph and the scene where you have Bowser and M. Bison and Zangief, and they're all just sat there with Wreck-It Ralph? Remember we talked about how much of a ball ache that was because every individual rights holder for each of the characters who appeared in that scene kept complaining that their character wasn't big enough or they didn't have enough lines, or in the case of Bowser, Nintendo went as far as to say that's not how Bowser drinks coffee. And they had to keep redoing the scene.
I don't want to be the bad guy anymore.
Can't mess with the program, Ralph.
You're not going turbo, are you?
Turbo?
Which, to some degree, I do respect the idea that...
It's our character, portray them properly, right? You get it.
Yeah, I do. I do very much respect the idea that Nintendo has a specific way in mind for Bowser to be drinking coffee.
But you can also imagine how much of a ball ache that is for the animators, who are like, look, we just want to put these characters in as a fun cameo. Your insistence on us doing it your way is slowing things down. And especially the insistence of a lot of the rights holders, that they wanted their character to look better than the other ones. Like a big complaint in that Wreck-It Ralph scene from a lot of the rights holders, that their character was too small. For example, Sega kept nudging Disney, hey, make Dr. Robotnik a bit taller. He's taller than Bowser, and then Nintendo's no, Dr. Robotnik is shorter than Bowser. Bowser's the biggest. And apparently there was one cut of that scene that the animators worked on where all the characters were ginormous and Ralph looked silly because he was too small. So what they did is said, screw it, they're all the same size.
Which, fair compromise, but it's a compromise they had to come to. And as you say, I feel so sorry for the animators and that
who had to keep redoing their work. And in regards to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Steven Spielberg, the maestro, knew that he'd have to deal with something like that. So used his clout, used his connections, $5,000, flat fee, we have complete creative liberty to do what we want with the character. Also, we want the original voice actor. Can you get them? Of course you can. And it's to the extent where the original voice actress for Betty Boop came back to reprise her role.
Work's been kind of slow since cartoons went to color, but I still got it, Eddie. Boop, boop-be-doo.
Yeah.
That's the power of Spielberg.
He was just swinging it around, wasn't he?
He was swinging that dick around so much for this film. But there was one group of holdouts, and you've already mentioned who they are, Lucas. Do you want to guess who are the one sole group of holdouts who didn't want their characters appearing in this movie?
Well, I am imagining it is Warner Bros. With the Looney Tunes.
Do you know me? I'm an important Warner Brothers star, but I'm not always recognized. Watch it, Buster!
So Warner Bros. Were reportedly worried that, with Disney financing the movie, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck wouldn't get as much screen time, and the screen time that they did get would be less than their Disney counterparts, i.e. Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck.
Which is a fair assumption to make. Disney are producing the film.
Exactly. So they agreed to the same $5,000 flat fee for the use of the characters as everybody else, but they did have some stipulations. One of which is that Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse had to have the same amount of screen time. So when you watch the film, or the clip I'm about to put in, you'll notice that not only do Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny appear on screen for literally the exact same amount of time, they also have the same amount of lines.
What's up, Doc? Jumping without a parachute? Kinda dangerous, ain't it?
Yeah, you could get killed. You guys got a spare? Bugs does. Yeah?
Yeah, but I don't think you want it.
I do. Give it to me.
And it's to the point where someone from Warner Bros. Sat in and counted the number of words that Bugs Bunny said.
It's one of those where it doesn't really have to matter that much because ultimately, Roger Rabbit is the title character. It's not about these characters, right?
It's similar to the Wreck-It Ralph example, right? Where ultimately the characters appearing in that film were cameos, and because they had so many cameos, they kind of had like a stick as well as a carrot to keep the rights holders in line by, well, if you don't play ball, you'll be the one person who doesn't get to appear in this movie. Like, everybody else will get a cameo and you won't. Do you want that? No. Shut up and let us do our job.
Yeah, and obviously it does sound like Warner Bros. We're still a pain in the ass, but they could only get to a certain point before, it's just, okay, fine, we just won't put Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny in the film.
And in regards to Daffy Duck, they had an even more specific request. So, you mentioned the dueling piano scene, right? Where Daffy Duck and Donald Duck are having a piano duel. It's an awesome scene. It's awesomely animated. Probably one of my favourite parts of the movie because I love Daffy Duck. Daffy Duck's one of my favourite cartoon characters.
But you are despicable. This is the last time I work with someone with a speech impediment.
When Warner Bros. Heard that that's what they wanted to do with Daffy Duck, they asked them, okay, so what's the joke? Well, the joke's going to be that Donald Duck can play the piano and Daffy Duck can't. Like, no. Daffy Duck can play the piano. What? It's like Daffy Duck can play the piano. In fact, Daffy Duck can play the piano just as good as Donald Duck. So I will, if you want to do that scene, we'll sign off on it. But Daffy Duck has to be able to play the piano. He's going to be goofy when he does it. He's going to be Daffy. He is Daffy Duck after all, but he can play the piano.
That's the thing. I'm a big fan of both. I like Donald Duck as well as Daffy Duck. Out of the two, the one that I would assume can't play piano is Donald, not Daffy.
We do know that there's definitely an episode of like the Looney Tunes where Bugs Bunny plays the piano. It's one of my favourite shorts. It's one where Bugs Bunny's playing the piano. I love the character of Bugs Bunny as well. One of my favourite just images from any Bugs Bunny short is him in the like little tuxedo with the tails, sat at the piano.
Yeah,
and that's a fantastic episode of Looney Tunes. So I imagine there must be an episode where Daffy Duck can play the piano, and that's why they were annoyed about it. So if there is, I'll put a clipping of it now. If there's not, just Warner Bros. Like, hey, fuck it, Daffy Duck can play piano, shut up.
Look, one hand. No hands.
Yeah, that's the thing. We have evidence that Bugs Bunny could do it. Bugs Bunny, similar to Daffy Duck, both of them can just kind of do whatever they want.
Well, it's Toon Logic, right? We've talked about that in the past over on Wiki Weekends, the second channel that we run, where Toon Logic trumps everything. And it's something that's actually mentioned in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So people don't know Toon Logic it trumps basically all other kinds of logic. You have like logic for our world, so the live action movie thing, I don't know, Die Hard, right? Die Hard is a slightly elevated version of the universe we live in. It conforms to roughly the same rules as our universe, except for the fact John McClane is bulletproof.
Yeah, I was about to make the example before you could think of something of Fast and Furious, and then realise that's basically an anime at this
as
point.
it goes on, it becomes less and less realistic, and that's when then you get like comic book logic, which is like superheroes, where roughly the same rules as our own universe, but some people have got superpowers. Anime logic trumps even that. Where, like, you know, maybe even, like, the rules of their universe are completely different to our own. Then there's Toon Logic, where the rules of the universe are whatever is required for the plot.
Where is that walking suitcase?
And in regards to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, they have a great moment where Roger Rabbit is chained to Bob Hoskins like via handcuffs and just slips out of the handcuffs. And Bob Hoskins gets really mad. It's like, are you telling me you could have gotten out of those handcuffs at any time. And Roger Rabbit's like, no, only when it was funny.
Not at any time, only when it was funny.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
As long as it's funny and required for the plot, a cartoon character who adheres to toon logic can do anything. So if Daffy Duck needs to play the piano, Daffy Duck can play the piano. As long as it's funny.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's, technically, Roger Rabbit could get out of those handcuffs whenever they wanted, but, as you say, it's got to be for the plot.
Yeah, only if it's funny. Similar to like Bugs Bunny. Like, why can Bugs Bunny tunnel underground and go, like, all the way across the United States in 12 seconds? Because the plot requires him to. The plot needs him to go from one location to the other, so he can just do it. Like, why is it that Bugs Bunny can just defy the laws of physics or change reality by turning around a shotgun so Elmer Fudd shoots himself in the face? Because it's funny. So in that moment, he can just do that. He is like a sentient trickster god.
I mean, yeah, I think calling Bugs Bunny a god isn't that unfair.
Well, people say, like, you know, he's basically Loki. He's a trickster god. He lives there only for, like, you know, to cause, like, you know, mischief and discord. And specifically singles out Elmer Fudd as the target of his ire. And before we, like, get onto that, there is one last thing about the making of Who Framed Roger Rabbit I want to talk about, and it is the guy who played Roger Rabbit apparently was crazy. So have you heard about this? Because you mentioned you're familiar with some of the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Roger, who was with me all the time, was Charlie Fleischer, who is completely nuts.
So the guy who played Roger Rabbit is an actor called Charles Fleischer, and even though he was only doing the voice, he insisted on dressing like Roger Rabbit and turning up on set. And I've just sent you a picture to prove that that's what he did.
They had made Roger's clothes up to fit Charlie, and Charlie, to be in character, wore Roger's clothes. And I thought to myself, if they think I'm wearing a diaper...
He looks like he's, you know, enjoying himself in the costume.
But keep in mind, he wasn't actually on camera. They didn't need, like, on-camera reference. They had puppeteers for that.
Then I would step off camera into this little place that they had sectioned off for me with my own mic and watch whatever happened. Because if Hoskins were to pull Roger, I would have to react to that. I came to call it trans-projectional acting.
It was necessary for the movie.
It was necessary for the movie. And that's so good, because that guy, he just went crazy.
Well, I've just approached this like I would approach any role. I don't consider this to be a voiceover. If anything, it had to be categorized. It's off-camera acting. I'm just there doing it. I prepare in the same way I would prepare for any role. I learn my lines. Just a minute, please. I'm doing an interview.
I guess that's what you need to play Roger Rabbit, though, because as far as I'm aware, he's very good in the role.
Oh, he's fantastic. And there's been, like, for years they've tried to do, like, a Roger Rabbit reboot. I think he appeared in that Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, or the Rescue Rangers, whatever it was, where they had a bunch of cameos.
Yeah, Chippendale.
That was it, Chippendale, yeah. He reprised his role as Roger Rabbit for that and did it again.
All night long dancing the Roger Rabbit with Roger Rabbit.
Boy, what a party!
What turned up on set in the outfit?
He turned up to the recording booth and wore it, yeah.
Oh, I've got to respect the dedication to the role.
It's just, you hear, like, I remember hearing that rumour years ago. I was like, it can't be true. And then at one point I saw, like, the behind-the-scenes documentary where he's wearing the outfit with the fucking bunny ears on, and everyone's like, we don't know why he's choosing to do this. He doesn't need to be here.
He, like the first day, he insisted on a costume. He said, Charlie, you're a voice. And if I said anything about your character, no, but, you know.
I'm a rabbit.
He's literally got to be in a voice booth. Why is he here?
And you might think, well, as I said, they didn't even need him for, like, you know, on-set reference. They had puppeteers for that. Speaking of which, there's a couple of, like, other fun behind-the-scenes tidbits. One is, like, Jessica Rabbit. Probably, like, the most famous part of the film, right? Jessica Rabbit. A lot of guys, like, awakening. Of seeing, like, you know, this svelte, stacked redhead who can sing and likes funny guys and funny-looking guys. So, hell yeah. Her design was apparently specifically made to be literally impossible because they wanted to avoid any accusation that they were rotoscoping characters. That's, like, a way you can do things. I think it was with, like, Cool World and, like, other animated fare where you draw over a physical actor's performance to insert the cartoon character into the world that way. They gave Jessica Rabbit, like, a hourglass figure, but an impossible, inhuman hourglass figure, just so that if anyone said, no, that's rotoscope, so no, we're just that good.
how can you be attracted to these fictional characters or like video game characters and things like this, and they don't seem to understand, and then you could just use Jessica Rabbit against them. Like, yep, just say Jessica Rabbit, and like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it.
That's like one of my favourite interview moments. That is, it's Eddie Redmayne. He's on like Graham Norton's show.
Would it be right to saying your sexual awakening was a two-dimensional sexual awakening?
Oh god! And the Graham Norton show researchers are really good. Like, if there is like a bad photo of you out there, or like a school uniform pic that your mum put in the paper when you first got like big as an actor, they'll find it and like embarrass you with it. And they tracked down an old interview with Eddie Redmayne where he says like his first like crush was Nala from The Lion King.
I mean, look, I get it.
I loved The Lion King when I was younger, and I had a weird obsession with Nala. but it was...
But there's just a great moment where they say, like, if anyone doesn't know, this is Nala, and you see Eddie Redmayne, like, and to his credit, he's like, I was only little.
In Eddie's defense, they draw them really sexy.
What did you like, Robin Hood?
Robin Hood was quite sexy.
We've got Robin Hood. There he is. And that tunic is worn very low, I noticed. Yeah. He's packing.
And obviously, again, a lot of these characters were... It's just, obviously, Nala is drawn in, like, a seductive way at one point, and has
anthropomorphized,
right?
Like, they're deliberately given, like, human-like characteristics. Like, I think, too,
exactly.
like, Bugs Bunny, right, another one. And more old-school one is, like, which is mentioned in, like, Wayne's World, where Garth is like, hey, when Bugs Bunny dressed like a girl bunny, did you ever find him attractive? No. Me neither.
No. Neither did I.
That's like the one for me is like the Power Rangers movie with like Dulcia when she rocks up.
Which one's that?
Like she's like the lady who rocks up wearing like the skimpiest outfit ever, and like her fighting style is to spin sticks around and they whistle.
Fair enough.
So, you know what? I mean, one for you. You know, folks at home, what was your like? You know, what character helped awaken your sexuality as a younger guy, gal, or non-binary pal?
We mentioned Power Rangers. Obviously, this is not from our formative years, but the 2017 Power Rangers movie, where just Elizabeth Banks shows up rocking that Rita Repulsa outfit, it's like, oh, that's going to awaken some kids.
Even like
sure.
Rita Repulsa back in the day. Because I remember there's an episode of like Power Rangers where Rita Repulsa turns into a human, and for some reason they've got like the most stacked actress ever to play her, and they expect us to think she's evil. And I was like, no, I'd do it. I would immediately like make my monster grow baby. Let's fucking do it.
Oh god!
Like yes, my queen.
Yeah, obviously another Power Rangers reference. Just the Pink Ranger, right? Like Kimberly. Just yeah, that was definitely one I remember as a kid.
A lot of people out there likely have a similar story to this, and the important thing is not to be embarrassed by it, because the more you talk to people, or at least the more you talk to people who are willing to be honest, you realise everyone had a moment like that. And there's also like funnier examples that I want to reference because they're funny. It's like, have you ever seen that amazing tweet? It's someone who's like, just, oh man, people always ask who your favourite character is, and how am I supposed to tell them it's that one tiger from Zootopia who treat you right? And you know, if you Google that, you actually get, it's like a blinking, you'd miss it, like background character who's in the scene for like 2 seconds. But I want to Google right now, tiger in Zootopia.
Oh my god.
Who would treat you right, and see if he pops up. And I'm going to send you the link. Yeah, immediately. Like, it comes up, and I'm just going to send you the picture, Lucas. That just a small, but not insignificant amount of people like, what is it about this? Why am I all in on this tiger?
Just like Daddy Tiger right there.
Well, I'd say he's a background extra who's in the scene for like 4 seconds. and people got obsessed with it, right? And that's like, it's kind of wholesome in a sense until people make it weird. That there can be these like random background characters or like, you know, small cameos that people just immediately become enamored by. There is like an innocence to it, again, until people make it fucking weird. And people can make it really weird, don't make it weird.